Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
So Halloween's gone, but does not mean we can...
It's not forgotten.
It's not forgotten. So we are going to review a movie that just came out last month.
Yeah, keeping in the spirit of Halloween.
Keeping the spirit of Halloween and keeping our audiences happy. We are reviewing a TV series or cartoon.
Really brand new one.
Yeah.
Now, like I've told you before, we do these a couple of weeks ahead.
Yes.
This only came out 2 days ago. There you go. This is about you're going to listen to this in several weeks' time. But as that, it's only 2 days, and we saw it because we liked the guy who created it. Who did it?
Eli Roth.
Exactly. Created by Eli Roth and James Frey.
Yeah, so you guys know, Eli did Cabin Fever and well, he just wanted to do a cartoon as a change. Yeah,
well, the cartoon, animated. Anyway, this is an animated suspense, animated supernatural action family 10-part TV series. But each episode is about 22 minutes long.
Right.
I normally talk about that a bit at the end, but I'll tell you at the moment when we're looking at it, you can stream it on Hulu and Peacock, or whatever Peacock is.
New streaming site, though.
Okay. So there might be some other ones coming out. By the time you hear this, it might be hitting some other streaming sites as well. Now, okay, here we go. Created by Eli Roth and James Frey. It was released on the 2nd of October this year, which is now, it's about 2 days ago. It's Fright Krewe. Fright, like in frightened Krewe. Krewe. They can't spell. Now,
I don't know. Maybe they were just doing it in the sort of slang kind of way.
No, I'm just joking.
I'm just saying, Mike, it might be spelt that way because maybe some kind of slang that I'm not familiar with in America. I could be wrong.
It's a contemporary, or not contemporary, just a casual way of spelling it. Romanticizing it or whatever.
Well, I wouldn't call it romanticizing it.
Just say romanticize it and romance like kissy. It's a stylizing. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, here we go. Can't say too much about it. I don't know how much it cost. It wouldn't be any box office.
Well, there's no DVD release yet.
Well, it's being streamed and stuff. So I really don't know that sort of stuff. I do have a list of the players. I'll do the main ones in a moment. I do like this because it is really a sharp quality, isn't it? That's you reckon it's 2K or 4K or?
I wouldn't know, Mike.
It's really, really clear. So to watch it, it's great. It's not blurry. You know, they soft tone it and dumb it down a little bit. This is nice and clear, and it feels so good to watch. Even the opening credits good. You know,
all I can tell you of this is that it's a 2D type of animation, not the 3D type of one that I've been we've been seeing so much of.
Actually, they said something. They wanted 2D with a 3D feel to it. So that's why the clarity's being brought out and everything. So it's actually 2D, but they get that really nice sharp focus and imagery and everything. It's really great.
I kind of miss that old TD quality cartoons because it's been lately. It's all been three-dimensional stuff. 3D clay figures, stuff like that.
Whatever.
I just don't want to see 2D cartoons disappear off the face of this earth, even though may not be something that kids are interested in anymore. Go on.
Anyway, what was I going to say? Here we go. The people. And now, I'm not going to go for everybody. I'm just going through the main ones. Main group of kids who are the ones who are empowered by some entities to fight the evil. Okay. A girl called Sydney Michaela plays Soleil. S-O-L-E... Soleil. S-O-L-E-I-E-L. Tim Johnson Jr. plays... It's a maybe? Okay. Whatever. That's his name, maybe. Grace Liu does the voice for Missy. Chester Russing plays the voice of Stanley. And Terence Gardenhigh does the voice of Pat. Now, there is another guy there I'll do. I like creepy voices. Jacques Colimon voices the ancient demon Belial.
Belial.
He feeds on fear.
Oh, yeah.
And is
I think Belial is actually a demon.
He's a demon, yeah.
I mean, I think Belial is actually the term for the devil.
I think Belial is one of his demon generals or something. It doesn't matter. He's in the Bible anyway. He's in the Bible. Yeah.
Belial is the name for Beelzebub. Maybe roughly.
I think he works for him.
Names.
Okay, let's move on.
I'm just saying that the devil has like several names and entities.
And you've got a million guys who work for him. Okay.
Yes.
Let's move on. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Okay. I won't mention all the other people though, because quite a few people doing all the voiceovers. So I'll leave that part there. I can't tell you too much, which I hate this. I like to tell you all these good groovy things about it, but I have to give it to Sarah now. And I'll sit here, I'd go do coffee while she's talking or something. And
no, you don't. Every time he walks off, he disappears, and now he doesn't know where we lose track of. No, you don't. You're not going to run off.
I've got nothing more to say. I can't. There's nothing to talk about. I can't say, we're shot on location somewhere.
I can definitely say, guys, this makes me think of all sorts of cartoons, like Scooby-Doo, and a bit of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and a little bit of all these other 2D type of animations in the 90s. When I was younger.
Pre-discussion. About getting it out. He wanted something good like Scooby-Doo, but a little bit more.
Darker.
A bit darker, whatever. And then we sat down, when we watched it, said, it feels a bit like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because you got a head girl who's the head of their group, and she's pretty good. She got some really good parts, lines, and whatever, and she's given a really cool power or two. We won't get into it at the moment. There's a guy a bit like a Xander, and there's a boy version of Willow, and So there's a few little things like that happening.
And Missy that's like Cordelia.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. Yeah, and so I want to get the idea from that maybe, but Eli wanted to create something which is, I wouldn't say more adult, but a bit darker than Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. I think that
bring something real in instead of that's Mr. O'Hanlon who's dressed up as a ghost.
Yeah.
No, this is real stuff. Yeah. Anyway, we'll leave it to Sarah to now go and entertain you.
Yeah. So the lead character Soleil is a girl who lives in New Orleans, and she is into scary, creepy stuff. For all we know, and who can blame her? I think. Up there, I think if I had a best friend, I would like to have her as my offsider, as my best friend.
Yeah, why not? Sounds good.
Well, I think she's cool. I mean, and the one thing I like about this anime is the fact that there's different types of people representing in this one, where you get different
a bit of ethnic group. I think there was
in this one.
She's Kate, which is. She's dark skinned, but I think she's is either Cajun or Afro American or a mixture. There's little boys whose mum is, I think, Cajun but Afro American type.
Yeah.
And then there's the boy, what his name is, can't remember his name is. He's a pale skinned Caucasian American. Yeah, so they got both sides of it, and they're not pushing the barrier too much of the mix.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah, because it's a nice approach.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's cool.
Sometimes I get annoyed when sometimes
they push things
too hard, and whenever they do go, they see as most of these kids, they look like they represent the real people.
Yeah, like when I went to school, I was an Australian boy, but I had an Italian mother. And I used to hang out with the Italian boys at school. And then we also had a couple of Germans in there, and some Swedes, and other guys. And we all got along, apart from a few people who just didn't like Italians. So it was all like Italians against French at school sometimes, but we won't go into that. But, yeah, it's just most of the time, everyone just got along.
Anyway, moving on. So, Soleil does a tour guide group in the graveyard.
Ooh.
And as you guys know, in New Orleans, they have their graveyards, graves on the outside. Or the crypts, anyway.
Well, they have crypts and stuff, but they do things like Day of the Dead. Maybe they get out and do party days or
Mardi Gras, whatever they call it.
For the dead people, they get them out and not the Mardi Gras. When
Okay,
actually,
not
they,
that
they
one.
go to the cemetery and have a picnic there with the dearly departed.
Day of the Dead, they call it.
Yeah, I just said that.
Yeah, and they, of course they do their Mardi Gras where they celebrate, being alive.
Well, being alive, dead, whatever.
Anyway, it's an interesting
Anyway.
thing. Anyway, she does her tour and she ends up with the graveyard where she does a jump scare to the tour group members. Then we cross over to the next morning where she's at school, where she's presenting her presentation. But then something happens, causing the students to have a bit of a blood fight, I should call it, because they end up. She has this special blood, prosthetic blood, and it accidentally caused a bit of problems.
One guy grabbed a bag and thought he'd be funny with it and squared his girlfriend with it. It was a blood fight, and the whole classroom was covered in fake blood. The teacher was really impressed.
We also meet the following other kids, Missy, Stanley, and Pat. Pat is a boy whose aunt is a voodoo sorceress, I think.
Yeah, she's one of those occult shops. I don't know what they're called.
She owns a cupcake store.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's a cupcake.
That has a voodoo look to it.
Yeah.
Everyone has sort of a theme across it.
Yeah, it had a voodoo look to it, but it was cupcakes. Yeah. Sorry, my mistake.
I don't know why he confused
No,
it.
the guy later on. There's a pizza place called Rougarous. And he's actually a loup-garou. He is actually a creature, but that's the name of his pizzeria.
Anyway, so the teacher tells them, seeing as you misbehave in class, all the ones who are covered in blood is going to have detention where you have to go to the graveyard and clean the graves and clean the grounds, obviously.
You pick up trash and stuff, I don't think they're actually going to take the boys out and dust them or anything.
No, Stanley got the wrong end of the stick as usual.
Yeah.
Then they stumble across one of those not allowed enter type crypts where. They do enter it, and Soleil kind of cuts herself on a tree, this windy tree there.
And on top of this mound or something right there.
Yeah, and then suddenly something happens, causing everything to shake, rattle, and roll, and then.
Well, she drops a bit of blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the floor, on the tree, and it starts to get veins through it, like coming alive.
The kids suddenly try to get away, and of course, they get pursued by her great whatever, who's an ancestor of hers, who tells her that you undid my spell, which kind of concealed the demon.
A demon locked in this tree of life type thing. Yeah.
Then she summoned some other ancient, voodoo type, people, and each one of them gave each one of the kids a special type ability and skill set. I will tell you which one they'll get. So they get the elements like water, air, and fire.
Yeah. The main girl got that.
Yeah, and maybe he gets the ability to go into the beyond to the other side.
Go in the spirit world and walk around and talk to the ghost.
Yeah. And Missy, she gets the ability to be strong because her individual was actually a very strong African man, obviously. And
and they're called lowers, I think.
Yeah.
LOA.
Yeah. Stanley, he has the ability to touch something and get all this information
all the knowledge
from it.
out of it. So he touch a book and say he knows what's inside the book, or touch a table and tell you what it's made out of.
Pat has the ability to hear things that are beyond, normal hearing.
Yeah, he had knowledge or something, wasn't it? And he could hear.
He can hear anything.
He can hear things and also advise them.
Yeah,
but he had knowledge.
If he heard animals talk, he'd probably be able to talk back to them.
He heard the ants. Remember?
Yeah.
Don't walk on us. Sorry.
Yeah. He also can hear things that are things beyond human and animal perception.
He can hear stuff, but he was also he was given knowledge so he can advise them what to do.
Yeah. He's, as I said before, his aunt is a voodoo sorceress who works in a cupcake place. And, of course, now they got this special power thing. The others don't want anything to do with it. Missy and Stanley, who are both Missy's a cheerleader, no surprise there.
Cordelia.
And Stanley's a football player who's best friends with the mayor's son, and they want to be normal, so they try to ignore it. But unfortunately, the powers that they have are hard to control because Missy's one is the power to be very strong.
And she hurt one of her cheerleader girls when she did the routine.
She threw her across the room, damaging her, and she went to hospital for it.
Hence to say.
Yes. Anyway, she gets a little emotional, and somehow the demon, Belial or whatever his name is, comes and corrupts her and starts to get her on a rampage against Soleil and wants to get angry at her. It kind of causes them to run around throughout the city, and she tries to hide in a factory, and all the time she's pursuing her, being pursued thanks with the persuasion of the demon, obviously. Yeah. And this nearly gets her killed, and luckily enough, Pat's aunt knew of one of the rougarous, the head rougarou owner of the pizza place, comes there and tries to get her to become a rougarou because that's the only way to get her healed. And so you guys know, a rougarou is sort of like a werewolf. Sort of,
but not quite.
But of course, it's a little different. Obviously, a loup-garou sort of comes from a Caribbean type of mythology, obviously. So this is probably possibly where the werewolf stories may have come from. Possibly. A little bit.
Yes.
Anyway,
loup-garou. Actually, his name was loup-garou.
Yeah.
That was
Loup-garou.
He was a loup-garou.
Anyway, he does transform her into one, and she
heals
She heals really quickly, but she does not want to still be part of their little gang of theirs. Of course, every one of us start to experience their powers. I think maybe is the guy who he doesn't really like the idea of going into the spirit world.
It's creepy in there.
So as the story goes, they encounter some weird stuff along the way, including vampires. Yes, folks, there's vampires in New Orleans.
And loup-garous, and there's a few demons visiting.
And fairies.
Naughty fairies.
Yeah, fairies. Yeah. Who kind of contain, spirits, and sort of turn them into servants, I think.
Yeah.
Also, I should mention, guys, that there's some other creepy stuff, and we also learn the mayor, who has a bit of a in it against the loup-garou and the vampires, and wants to get them
to fight each other, kill each other off.
So he gets the demon to work for him, or they've each decided to work together.
Well, he kind of deal with this demon that if I help you, you'll help me, sort of thing,
Yeah.
You never trust a demon. They're always going to renege on the deal, There's always an escape clause. You ask any good lawyer,
Very cool, true. Anyway, we do watch them unravel secrets to the past and to all this stuff. Of course, all through this, we don't know how they're going to be able to vanquish LaBelle. I mean, when it's all through, all done, obviously. Wouldn't you say, Mike?
Well, yeah, they had no idea. That's going to flow.
Because it's not a matter of, there's no chance of just using their own powers. There's probably a bit of a special type of spell that requires all of them together.
Exactly.
But we don't mention. It's not mentioned in the first season.
That's
obviously.
why we think there's going to be a sequel.
Yes, folks. Anyway, soon enough, we get a few bits of what he gets up to, including summoning some other demons including ones that you have to summon using a special device to contact them, and of course, the kids were able to up and hand these creatures, and they eventually do encounter more of the other creatures as they go along throughout the TV series, and a little bit more about the past, about the New Orleans, like the things behind the things. Yeah, the things behind things. We found out that the mayor, his wife, was best friends with the vampires and loup-garous, and during a sort of getting into a car crash, the mayor tries to beg the vampires or the rougarous to transform her.
So she can heal, but they're out in the middle of a street with all the normal folk hanging
Yes.
around.
If they so much as expose their fang or their claw, then you know what's going to happen.
People will protest and try to kill them all off and everything else.
Including the mayor's wife, which I think at this point would have...
She will be a rougarous or a vampire.
Yeah, not so good.
So they said, we're not going to do it.
Yeah. So the mayor eventually, he kind of uncovers the kids' powers, and he kind of locks the few of them up in his attic, I guess, and tells his son the half-truth about what happened, obviously.
And try to get the son on side.
Of course, his son agrees to do this because he thinks his
daddy.
dad's not in the wrong. But he soon realizes his girlfriend, who's Missy, is a rougarous. And if the rougarous die, then who knows what's going to happen to her. How she's going to be able to control her abilities. Even though the rougarous have explained it to her how to control her abilities. And I think she's warming up to the group now because I don't think she's going to go back to being a cheerleader anytime soon in this production. At one point, she tries to go back to becoming a cheerleader, but I think she's...
They didn't want to play with her anymore. No. You're dangerous.
Yeah, but I think she starts warming up to the group and starts realizing they're an okay bunch of people, obviously. So...
Yeah, nice.
Anyway, they go to the final... In the final episode, episode 10, which is... They get... The rougarous and vampires are about to confront each other because they both think that one of the vampires killed one of their side.
Well, let's go back a little bit. The mayor went to a necromancer who had... they took the eyeball out of this dead guy.
Yeah, a rougarous.
A rougarous. And they wanted to start a fight, so he was killed by the mayor. Mm-hmm. But what he actually did was he got the necromancer to change this memory into the vampire lady killing the rougarous. And the rougarous and the vampires will be living in peace. Yeah. And actually he brought this to their attention that this vampire lady, who was a very nice lady, had killed this guy's father, who was rougarous' dad. And the problem is, it was all a lie. And he was setting everybody up for this big war. It was a big battle between the two...
The war?
What do you call it? Genres? No, what do you call it? Whatever.
Anyway, they then arrange a final battle on this abandoned fairground.
Very handy.
And he sets up a magical barrier that allows the rougarous and vampires to be stuck there.
Come in, but they can't get out.
At this point, Soleil is a prisoner at this point, and she watches as the mayor traps the demon. He started to use his power to control...
Somehow he tapped into the demon's power by putting him in some sort of magic circle.
Yes.
Yeah.
He says you summon another demon to do the icky-wicky stuff, but he just pushes them into the magical circle, and he slowly starts losing his powers, or so it would seem.
Yeah, well, apparently. It would look like it.
Anyway, the group arrives, and they tries to tell the truth, tell the full truth about what happened to one of their kind that was misinterpreted by the mayor, obviously. Mm-hmm. So anyway, once they found out from using Maybe's power, they were able to decipher the truth, the full truth, and nothing but the truth. And then they tried to escape because it's going to get dawn soon, which means you know what they say about vampires. They
get a big tan, really good tan.
Yes, and this would not end well for the rougarous too, because they have a weakness too there too. I don't
know.
Something to do with I don't know what it's called.
I can't remember, but I know the vampires will turn ash.
It has something to do with the flowers stuff. Anyway,
oh no, that's right. There's chamomile tea.
Chamomile is not good for them.
And it's not good for rougarous. And I think the mayor had sprinkled chamomile tea leaves all over the ground, which means what's going to happen is when the sun comes up,
yes,
the sun's going to warm up the chamomile leaves, which is going to give off the odour, which will effectively kill the rougarous.
Yeah,
there you go.
they can't. The smell will kind of hurt them.
Yeah.
But looking at them, not so much. I mean, just as long as you don't approach them and sniff them like you're into drugs kind of way.
A bit of CBD, THC.
Anyway, anyway, the dear old Sulu comes up with the solution by pouring some of the vampire blood that was in a small vial and pour it down the man's throat, which makes him
transform into
a vampire.
Yeah, a vampire. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool
I should mention that Maybe's brother, he also transforms into a vampire to fight.
Save his brother.
Of course, that means no longer eating your normal food anymore.
No more pizzas, no more McDonald's,
no
more
cheese
Burger King.
Sandwiches.
Which you like burning.
Which he was cooking earlier.
Which you like burning. Yeah, no more Cajun cooking. Yeah, whatever.
Nah, what a drag. No more gumbo.
Yeah, gumbo's in there. Gumbo,
Yeah, I think that's a
bit of catfish on the table, you know. Yeah.
Anyway, so as the sun's rolling up, the demon that was inside the circle, he somehow comes out and he sucks the fear from
he's
the
a
group.
fear demon. He likes to suck. He gets strong on people's fear. How's that? So he sucks the fear.
Yeah, and he's been trying to do this exact same thing with all the other people he encounters in the series. And of course, once this has happened, his skin and his face clear up. And
a bit
meaning
like,
he feels like he's...
pimple cream, you know?
Yeah. And as the sun rolls up, he's got tackled by the vampire mare. And while this is happening, Soleil and the mayor's son, the mayor's son was with them and tries to talk his dad to stop all this crumb bum stuff.
And Dad didn't want any bar of it. So
yeah. Soleil quickly uses her power and they jump and they're using her wind power
to break the fall.
Yeah. And while this is happening, the mayor explodes along with Belial, and then the magical barrier around the group stops.
Yeah, I think it's if the person who makes the spell dies and the spell breaks. So So the barrier went down. Yeah.
But so you guys know, I think that guy Belial is still alive at this point. You hear laughter, and you much later see him bringing another demon into coexistence, and this is sort of takes place during a dream sequence of Soleil, and she wakes up, and then that's when the credits roll, and that's episode 10. So that's the entire series.
That's an opening for a sequel, which will probably. I reckon we're going to have a sequel next year, guys.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Now, and actually, I've read notes here.
Okay.
And I said, I think a sequel is on the go,
right?
But based on how well received this is by the viewing public.
Well,
if everyone says, "Hey, it's really, really, really good," and it gets voted on in Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic and does good and everywhere else, and people say, "We want more," he'll make another series.
Yeah, guys out there, make the right decision and vote.
Now, I was going to go back. I've got a little bit of information here. Yeah, not lots. As you know, it's centered in New Orleans. Okay, and there's some of the spiritual belief of the voodoo and whatever. And now the creators, Eli and his buddy, what's his name, James, they wanted to authentically depict voodoo religion in a respectful manner.
Nice.
So they brought it in a nice way, not saying, "Oh, ooh, scary." No. They brought it in to highlight the positive nature of the voodoo as well as the negative one. Yeah. So they tried to get the balance right, so it gave a good, nice, true, or more accurate, not true, but a more accurate depiction of what voodoo is all about. Yeah. So, and I think it did good. I don't think they insulted the believers in voodoo. So they did quite well. Now, getting back to the filming, I love, not the animation, it is clear as a bell. And I get tired of seeing slightly blurry all the time. I know it's industry standard, something midway between sharp and blurry, yada, for film. But when you get a cartoon or animated or whatever, I like to see it nice and sharp, see all the colours come out. And this looks really good. The 2D almost does look 3D. It is so sharp. It's so good. It feels good. The colours are nice and deep. It's done. A lot of the stuff's done at night, isn't it?
Most of it, yeah.
Yeah, some of it's done daytime. I'm in school and whatever, but a lot of it's done at night time, and it got this nice dark feeling. And it just feels great.
It's quite
It's fun.
It is quite different from any other cartoon I ever did see, and trust me, guys, I've seen plenty.
We've seen lots.
Of course, this is probably because this one takes on a darker approach to this to cartooning. I mean, compared to the other ones. Like, I grew up with watching Batman. I grew up to watching the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is always sometimes in the night time, sometimes.
Yeah.
And in the dark sewers.
They work better in the dark,
And there's always humor in that, which is an added bonus to the story. Like in this one, there is humor and there's funny punchlines here and there that kind of get you laughing. Like the scenes where Pat freaks out, like, what shall we do?
Panic, yeah.
And so I like her very good energy in the room where even when she's face to face with something really creepy, she's like, wow, that was just incredible, stuff like that. I just love her energy. That's the thing I love most about her of all characters. I love that energy that I almost wish that it can appear in a lot more of cartoons these days when I think about it.
Yeah.
That type of energy, I miss that. I should mention, guys, I think there might be a little tiny bit of swearing and a little bit of teeny wee...
Not a lot. And it's not really bad stuff.
Yeah, there's also other stuff that I kind of noticed in this that Mike didn't.
What's it?
But I won't go into details about that either.
You might pick up on a few things here. It's called an Easter egg.
Yes.
Or two.
I do hope that Eli will look at probably making it a sequel out of this.
I've got some notes here. Eli's being interviewed here. He says, we would love to continue it. I'd love to continue it as a TV series and a book series.
Ooh.
And that's entirely in the hands of the viewers. So, yeah, buy it, watch it, rent it, vote on it, whatever. If you like it, make sure he gets to know about it.
Yeah, guys, I want to see a season 2. I don't want this to end where that the demon is still out there and these kids are vulnerable.
Yeah. He said he wants it to become the next Scooby-Doo or the next Goosebumps. He wants the series.
Me too.
So, yeah, there you go then.
I'm glad that he agrees that he wants something like this. Yeah. And I think the audience out there probably wants it too.
I think it's good. I think it's strong enough to do it. As long as they can do a fresh story for season 2.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not Belial doing stuff, but obviously from a different theme behind it as well.
Because technically, guys, I'm sick and tired of the remakes, as I said.
Let's dust it off. Let's get it out again.
I didn't like it when they tried to make a Velma Scooby-Doo thingy-wing, because that was just going for a different direction, and not many people liked it because of that direction, and it upset so many people. As I said before in the past, I don't mind new characters, I don't mind new stories and stuff like that. And I like new stories because it means, Hollywood is not running dry or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good when you get something fresh. And this is nice and fresh. It's good.
Yes.
And I like the fact that it's based in New Orleans, because there is a natural spiritual thing down there, spiritual connection. The way they view the dead and that sort of stuff.
It's based in a real town.
New Orleans is a real town, believe me. I want to go there one day. Listen to some jazz music.
Unlike other cartoons and stuff or programs, they always make up a town, and here and there.
This is a nice town, a horrible town.
And they just make up the name because they think it suits it. Like in Vampire Kisses, the lead character calls it Dollsville, even though it's not really the real name, but it's made up obviously for the book.
But anyway, what was I going to say? That it's a spiritual area.
I agree.
And it's a great location for it. Even if it was a real live action thing instead of animated, I think it'll work really good, because that's the sort of area and the atmosphere you're looking for this sort of story. So it works good. Now, like I said before, Fright Krewe, Krewe.
Yes.
As at today, it's on Hulu and Peacock. But in a couple of weeks' time, when you're listening to this, it may be on some other streaming services. So look around.
Yeah.
It's brand new.
Yeah. If they don't make it a TV season 2, I do hope they make
I think they will.
I hope they make at least a TV special to conclude the Demon's end. Not leave it on a
Well, they could
cliffhanger.
they could do a shorter series too, maybe.
Because in the past, when they do cartoons like this, it's always sometimes in those cartoons they would often just leave them like a little bit like the Land of the Giants, or the Doctor Who series, the ones that don't have any conclusion on them.
Yeah, Doctor Who keeps going and going and going and going and going. The Land of the Giants, Irwin Allen made that one. Irwin, that never got them home. The Time Tunnel got them back to the beginning, which they still didn't actually get home. What was the other one? There's another show.
Let me see.
Can't remember.
Don't remember.
There was another show, I think, and they never had a conclusion.
I know that Gilligan's Island, they never had a conclusion. Well, except for the movie specials that came after it.
Yeah. They got off the island, escaped from Gilligan's Island or something. They did a movie. Yeah.
A movie or two, anyway, just to conclude the story.
Just to cap it off, make some money out of it. But it's nice to have a full product, not half a product. It's like buying a bag of chips and find out half the chips are gone when you open the bag. You want all the chips.
Or if you ordered a pizza and
someone's got a slice taken out of it.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly, a slice missing. Or buying a jigsaw and you get to the end of it, you got 3 or 4 pieces missing.
I've been through that, guys, so many times.
You bugger.
You bastards. Anyway, so let's rate this now, because I would love to rate this.
Again, I try to judge things and grade them in their respective genres.
Right.
This is one of the best animated, I'll say, movies and or series I've ever seen. It is done so well. The animation is really good. And it's almost like live action without being live action. Would you say that?
I agree.
Yeah. So I am going to give Eli and his mate, and I can't find anything wrong. I gave this other thing the other day a 10. I'm going to give this a 10 too, because there's nothing wrong with it. I cannot say, oh, well, that part wasn't very good or that bit. No, the whole lot works. The storyline's good. I'll say the acting's good. I'm into voiceovers, but the acting's good. They're believable characters. The storyline's good. The animation is superb, and it's in between 2D and 3D. It's got the really sharp 2D, which I love. Yeah.
And I'm going to rate it now. So I'm going to rate it 10 out of 10 too.
Wow, yeah.
So that's how high I feel about this one.
You gave the other 10 and a half the other day.
But I do think this one has potential to make at least a season 2, and maybe even a TV special if we ask the creators very nicely if they could do that.
Christmas special and an Easter special, like peanuts and stuff.
Yeah, at least give it a chance, guys. I mean, this sort of thing might grow on you.
It's fresh,
and it might even grow a very big fan base when you give it a little bit more time.
If Eli can get the right feedback, he makes it. I know it's not about the money for Eli. I mean, guys like Eli believe in the art as well. Yes. The point is, the more money he can make, the more good stuff he can put out.
Exactly.
So if you can don't borrow it, stream it, buy a copy of it, whatever you do, and line his wallet, so he can go and make some more goodies, because he is a good creator. There you go then.
Yeah, just so you guys know, we'll try to make sure we squeeze in a few more new releases, because there's going to be a lot of releases from last month, because a lot of Halloween stuff has been released last month, and I would like to cover as much as I can.
We might continue the Halloween theme through this month as well a little bit.
Yeah.
If we can find suitable product.
Yeah. I might check out either Suburban Screams and...
Have we got VHS coming out?
Yeah, VHS will come out.
Yeah.
And let me see, there's some other stuff that's coming out that I'm looking forward to actually checking out.
Yeah.
So I'll be sure to let you guys know what we got planned on the Grapevine.
Cool.
So,
I can't wait.
So that's us. That's our bit tonight. So you know where to find it on Peacock and stuff like that. And if there's any other streaming sites that's already been releasing this, you go check those out. And be sure to cast your vote so Eli could actually make more, episodes.
Yeah. If you pay for it properly instead of borrowing a friend's copy or something or other, the more money they make out of it, the more money goes back in the coffers so they can make some more series and other new things. Yeah.
Yes. So that's it from us tonight, guys. You know where to find us, and be sure to check out all our previous other episodes as we go along because we value your opinion
We've done
as
lots.
usual.
We've done this a couple of years now, over 300.
Yeah,
we're already cracking 400 almost soon.
We've cracked 4 seasons, so that's a lot of.
No, how many would Dave reviews been? We're 300 and something so far.
So far.
Yeah. Whoa.
Anyway, there's so many. So be sure to check them out and let us know in the comments what you guys think of each episode. So that's it for us tonight. So this is Sarah Stephenson.
And Michael.
Saying see you guys around on Boys and Ghouls Film Review. Bye for now.
Bye.